3-second rule is where you approach as quickly as possible within 3 seconds before your own anxiety wells up, gets you inside of your head, cramps you down, and you can't take action. In the very beginning, if you've never approached girls, maybe you can use that, that's fine. But that's completely wrong, because then you're acting out of fear avoidance instead of acting out of what you want to do or the way you want to give value. Once you get good enough at being ballsy and approaching any girl anytime, what's going to happen is you're going to approach confident, lacking empathy, belligerent, and almost like a dick or a douchebag, right? As they say in America, Australia, or the United Kingdom. So if you already have some experience approaching, let anxiety build. Because from the girl's point of view, if you're just stomping up to them extremely confident and ballsy, they're going to be like, whoa, Mr. Confident, and you're going to see a reaction on their face, and you're going to get a flashy little chunk of game, but it's not going to be real. And they know that it's not real, and they know that it didn't mean anything to you to do the approach, because you've basically put on what's called a shtick. Okay, you've put on basically kind of a confident ego and not real self to trick yourself into being able to approach. So what the fuck good is that if you're lying to yourself and lying to the girls? So instead, let yourself feel anxiety. Now, I, for one, all I do 5-6 days a week is coach game in fields. I have no anxiety when I approach. I do get excited. I do get a little bit thrilled and a little bit not anxious, but a good anticipation. So if I go over there completely indifferent or bored or confident, like it doesn't mean anything to me because I have an abundance of approaches, then to them, they don't feel anything, and neither do I. So I let the anxiety build, and I let myself get a little bit more excited or a little bit more stressed. And then I'm going to go over to the girls, and I'm going to feel a little bit more like, ah. And here I am, confident guy with a little bit of stress. And it's actually good, because my delivery isn't smooth anymore. I don't seem like a player. I don't seem like I can control any situations. I become innocent all over again, and innocent is the way that you need to be. So let yourself be cast back into that sense of anxiety, and then it's going to come across so much more real than the way that you do it when you're like charging around ballsy and getting really flaky numbers. The other problem with going to high energy and playing the 3-second rule game is that you'll start all these interactions at a high energy approach, and it only falls down. Like the energy level can only fall if you charge in there with a high energy and a confidence. So if you go and charge in with a low energy, a little bit nervous, a little bit awkward, and some awkward pauses, it's infinitely better. I'm like ranting and raving because I believe in this so much. Infinitely better to go in lower energy and have the set lapse, not get rejected, but lapse, so you can reapproach and let the energy build later, or go in low energy and awkward to let you and her overcome the awkwardness, start to relate a little bit, start to converse a little bit, and then it will start to build in energy between you and the girl and her friends and your friends or whatever, so things go in a good direction instead of starting really high and going in a bad direction. Okay, so you're setting up for the front door later. Now here's the worst thing. I have students here on my 4-week natural program, www.4weeknaturalprogram here in London. It's going to be starting in July, June or July next year in London. Okay, the dates are set. They're going up in October, so be prepared. My students here, they would just see girls in the crowd and run up to them and have absolutely no sense of whom they were approaching before they made the approach. What I do before I approach, in conjunction with my anti-3-second rule, what I always did is I would try to form an emotional impression of the girl before I go over there. So I would kind of like get a feeling, I would never say it out loud, but I would get a feeling of what mood she's in and her potential. I would think of those two things. So I would see a group of girls and I would see, if I'm in a nightclub, I might see bored, distressed, overwhelmed. They could be excited, they could be out of their mind, they could be attention seeking or whatever. So if I see a girl, or two girls for example, and they are in a high energy mood, trying to stay ahead of being clamped down by any other guys, they're energetic, so they're very expressive, they're feeling very expressive, and they're feeling like they are hard to get or hard to catch, then I want to feel those feelings inside of me. Go over to them and be like, you guys are hard to catch, you guys are so expressive, and no one is going to trap you. So I'll go over and I'm going to be like, do what you want to do. Be hard to get, be expressive, be unobtainable. You're so good at it. So I feel those feelings and they feel understood before I even meet them face to face. So when they do meet face to face, it's like seek to understand before being understood. So I'll meet them and I'll engage them, and I'm thinking win-win. I'm thinking, what do they want to do? Because if I can be the only guy in the whole club who does have sexual intentions, if I'm the only guy in the club who does want to fuck them but encourages them to have fun, then they're going to go to the point of encouragement, or the guy who believes in them and what they're doing. And what is that? Of course, I want the girls to have fun, be hard to get, be expressive, and I want to encourage them to do that every time I see them through the night. And then I want to be with them at the end of the night going out of the club. So I'm going to become a familiar face because I'm understanding of what their intentions are and what turns them on. At the same time, I'm not going to be like trying to control them or assert my intentions onto them. At least not in the club. The club is a time to have fun. On the other hand, I might be in more of a pub or a bar, like think of a cocktail bar, and I see a girl who is with a group of 3 friends, and she's pretty cute, but I might see her there in high heels, nice dress, and she might look flustered, distressed, and a little bit overwhelmed. I can't keep up with what's going around her. Her intentions for the night, her plans of what she wanted to do was mismanaged, and she feels a little bit unsettled, okay? And so I'm gonna go over to her group, not ballsy and confident and belligerent, like, hey, look at me. I'm gonna go over there like, oh shit, clubs can be distressing. Oh, yeah, no, I hate it when you expect one thing and something else happens. I'm gonna empathize with her on that, and then I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna be able to agree with and encourage whatever she wants to do, because I kind of have understood it empathetically even before I got there. So by doing that, if she says, I'm in a bad mood, imagine the girl saying this, I'm in a bad mood, I don't want to talk to anybody, okay, I'm not interested, and you'd be like, yeah, fair enough, shit happens, been a tough day, my bad, let me leave you to it, and I really hope that things clear up, okay, things turn in a good direction, but feel flattered that I came and approached because I didn't go and approach anybody else. So I will have connected with her and understood her, and I create space to reapproach, because I wasn't going there trying to force her or control or anything like that. So by doing that, you create infinite chances to reapproach instead of just get in her face and try to control her like an idiot. So what do you do? What do you do? I do this exercise with my students on the 4-week natural program here in London and around the world. We'll see a group of girls and I'll say, okay, girl on the left, the one who you want to talk to. And by the way, I'm at a stage where I can see a group of 3 girls, and I can tell you probably where do they live in the city? Do they live out of the city? I can probably tell you what language they speak. I can probably tell you if they have a boyfriend or not. Okay, I can tell you all of that just by practicing this kind of empathy and having literally like 10,000 students come back to me and me evaluate all of that experience and what I expected versus what it actually was. So I'll get with my student, I'll say, drill. The drill is this. I want you to articulate 3 words that interpret her emotions, that identify her emotions before you even go over there. 3 words to identify what kind of emotional state she's in, but the identification needs to be leaning towards what you hope it to be. So if you see a girl who's like uptight, simple word, I want the student to identify self-conscious, reactive, like overreactive maybe, but then also looking for somebody to help her relax. Okay, looking for a friend or someone she trusts or a familiar face to share the burden of her tension or her bad mood with. So I want to identify those things, go over a touch base with the girl, meet somebody, cold approach for pickup, touch base, and then you can connect with that girl a little bit and set up many, many more approaches during that night and be able to relate to her friends as well. So that's the drill. Before you go and see a girl, here's the goal of all of this. Before you approach girls, day game or night game, let yourself get a little bit anxious, because that's what a girl in her socially conditioned mind thinks that it's going to look like or feel like. She expects that a guy's going to be confident, yes, confident enough to approach, but realistically nervous, okay? Bring yourself back. You'll also then connect with her emotional state, have an understanding, acknowledge her, and then share your good intention with her and take her from where she's at to a different direction. And that's what seduction is when you can take a person from their existing state, the emotional state that you see that they're in, acknowledge it, bind with it, and then lead it in a better direction. Okay, like two people combined are better than one. You can help her to have fun, after party, encourage her, feel valued and verified. Not validated, don't validate the girl, but verify that, yeah, have fun. Be expressive, dance like crazy. You look fucking amazing, you look so good. Okay, be like, not as hot as me, you know, throw in the negative expressions as well. But be that guy, and you're going to be there with the girl at the end of the night, and you're going to be a friendly face to everyone instead of Mr. Ballsy guy who steps up too aggressively and makes girls defensive by being over the fucking top. Okay, so that is the drill. Identify 3 words and give yourself 3 seconds. Okay, so let's skip over and talk about a day game example, all right? So with a moving set, depending on the time of day, I will see girls running the fuck around, like at pace, walking uncomfortably fast in, you know, medium level heels, probably carrying a heavy work bag. And maybe they are running for a train or a bus or whatever, which is highly likely in these amazing cities like London, New York, Chicago, Sydney or whatever. So if I see a girl in that kind of rush, I'm thinking that she's rushing to get a train. And if she's a rushing type person, she's not leaving work in a leisurely way. She's working hard to the end of the day, be like, shit, I want to get as much done as possible. I want to achieve as much as possible. I want to value every second of my day, like all of us in this social media generation. And I know that she's going to be in a fucking rush. And so you got to empathize with that one straight away. Like, you're in a rush, I'm in a rush too. I'm going to the fucking train. What's going on? Having a good day. And the things that I will identify is she's in a rush, she's super fucking busy. These are like even obvious ones. But then I also want to lean towards the good of it. So I want to lean towards the idea that she's been extremely effective that day, successful, and that it's finally we can get on that fucking train, relax, read the news on our phone. So I'll kind of like, what I have said is like, are you in a rush? Me too. I'm running to my train. I nailed it at work today. Fuck some shit up, but nailed it. And then I'm going to sit in the fucking train, eat a sandwich that I have in my bag, and then I'm going to read the news, and it's going to be a good fucking day. Sorry to bother you, empathizing like that. Did you take the same train as me? Are we train soulmates? When you're in a rush, just for the record in day game, you want to go a little bit more like loving and extreme. Like, are we soulmates? Is this serendipity or whatever? Get them laughing, and because it's already extreme enough as it is. But she might think this guy's having a great day, this guy is in a really fucking good mood or whatever. And then you need to kind of like put it out there quickly. And what I actually find a lot of the time, it's really weird, is that for me and my students, the girls who are really rushing, they are rushing because they have a boyfriend. And the reaction we often get if we do the approach well and we're relaxed is that she'll be like, you're super funny and you actually did really well. Like, you were cool to talk to, but I'm rushing to get home to my partner, my wife, my partner, my fiance, my boyfriend or whatever. Okay, so we notice that one. But sometimes you'll see girls taking it easy in the day, sitting down in the day, and they have their approach me blinkers on. They have their approach me mode on, especially on weekends, which is good. And unfortunately, oftentimes it's tourists or people from out of town. So rarely will you actually get locals chilling in the day, just chilling around in the same city that they live. Okay, the locals, they'll actually be at bars in the afternoons or on public transport, but they do tend to take the time and walk a little bit slower and hang out and take it in because they are considering being approached, or single chicks without serious partners who aren't rushing the fuck around. They will go and have like a coffee or a hot chocolate or tea with their friends and discuss their Sex and the City lifestyle. And then you need to know how to do cafe approaches, which, for the record, a cafe approach, I'll kind of cross explain this one. A cafe approach is where you sit not at the table with your girl, but you sit at an adjacent table and talk across the tables and say, is anybody sitting here or whatever. So if you see a girl in the day game sitting down, chilling the fuck out, I look at the girl and I'm thinking, I usually will feel something like she's enjoying not having to be anywhere. She's like basically sunbaking in the day. Sunbaking, she's deliberately enjoying not doing anything. Okay, so you recognize that with her. She's open to the unknown. Like you're open to like I want to empathize that she's open to the unknown and that anything could happen that could point her in a better direction for her day. And that's really how, when you're a kid, that's how you think. And when you're like, chicks love to think that way as well. Like what surprise is waiting around the corner? Whereas I would like to think that guys, we want to create surprises for others in a good way that can benefit everyone. And another thing is, she's probably wary of the unknown in a city because, you know, people are super self-conscious and scared of the unknown. So wary, a little bit excited, open to the unknown, but also deliberately doing nothing. So combining those three things together, I'll be gentle around the wariness, say, I know I'm a stranger, but you know, I'm normal, you know, I can vote in this country, I have a job and a name, and then I'll be like, I'm so glad I've got nothing to do today. I actually had to set time aside to do nothing because my work schedule is getting more and more hectic. And then that can actually lead into you later qualifying the girl using a statement of motivation and saying, thank you so much for me learning how to appreciate relaxing and doing nothing. Like your time is nothing to me. You're nothing to me. Or her helping you to relax and enjoy going slow, because if you're a busy person, as you should be, busy time schedule, these are the things that are of value to you. So the same with chicks if they're having their like chick conversation at a wine bar or a coffee bar talking about guys, and that they're actually super fucking simple, and they're the ones that you should aim for. Coffee shop and wine bars, not general day game, because logistically mostly it's not even possible. Bit of day game content here today as well. So there it is, really cool. Bit of 3-second rule, anti 3-second rule, different examples, lots of good stuff. Check out www.socialencrypted.com because in there's a lot of infield examples, different versions of game and approaches and empathy. Hey mate, can we help you?
Are you guys scared?
No mate, no. But thank you, welcome.
Sorry.
You're right. Okay, that was a completely perfect example of a complete lack of fucking empathy, or like observation of what the fuck is going in front of you. Here I am, doing work with a very serious camera and a light properly set up to record a blog for my professional lifestyle, my professional fucking job, and without thinking, without empathizing, without having any consideration for how I feel or what I'm trying to do here, just comes in, interrupts what is, it could be a scripted, well-prepared, singular stream of consciousness for his own gain, whatever the fuck that might be. Maybe whoever that person is that he mentioned is somebody that he wants to get a selfie with or meet up with or steal a moment of his time. So complete neglect of what my intentions were and my cameraman's intentions were, and only the interest in himself. So zero empathy. And does that make me want to connect with him or help him or whatever? No. Instead, had he have stopped and be like, oh, they're filming, it seems important, legitimate equipment, legitimate recording equipment. These guys are doing a good job, and said, and if he had have said after we finished, nice work, so sorry to interrupt, looks like you're nailing it there. And if you're not in a rush, because I'm a little bit hurried and got to get back to my program for the evening game session, then I would have been like, oh, cool, we understand each other. Yeah, sure, let me give you whatever you want from me, because I know that you're coming at a place of mutual understanding. So the example, mind fucking blowing, coming up completely at the expense of what I'm planning to do, only interested in their own expense. And from a girl's point of view, they get that all the fucking time. So hey, like, stop what you're doing, stop what you're doing. I don't give a fuck. 3-second rule.